So let's say that you go through all your content, you know that you have good content on your website. So how do you make sure when you do your content marketing program that your customers can find it, either inbound or outbound? How do you make sure that your customers can find that content?
We just discussed about how the quality of your content is what catches the eye of the reader, brings the customer in, and gets you noticed. Uh, the technical setup of your site has just as much to do with it. Companies, especially social media companies, have been doing their best to provide tools to get your content noticed and get your content out there. One such company is obviously Facebook. Facebook proposed the Open Graph Protocol, and it's basically like a series of meta tags that goes into your website and allows you to control what people socially share. So if I put a link on Facebook, instead of grabbing a random snippet of the text, it's going to actually grab what's in the Open Graph text. Instead of grabbing a random picture, which could be the logo of your website, it's actually going to grab the picture of the content in your article because you've set Open Graph and told it to do that. There are many benefits of this, which is you're basically controlling what other people are seeing when you're sharing. Open Graph is also followed by Google+. So right there you have two very large social networks that use this protocol. If you have it in your site and you configure it properly, now configuring it properly is different than just having it. Putting a like button on your website is not installing Open Graph. Putting Open Graph on your website and then not configuring it to have anything in those tags is not installing Open Graph. You're just kind of wasting your time if you're doing that. So there are proper ways to configure these things. Google Plus has a author and publisher setup, which is something brand new. We've been testing it. We've gotten our blog to show up to show our names underneath who the author is. So what this means is someone is searching on Google and finds an article by you, and let's say that they want to see more articles by you. Well, it not only gives them a link to your social media profile on Google+, but it also gives them a link to more articles by you and allows Google to automatically filter out articles based on your name, which is a tremendous benefit. This also works with what's called the publisher tag and allows people to find content by the same publisher. Now, publishers and authors are slightly different. The publisher usually has a Google+ page, and the author has a Google+ profile. Plus oneing websites has a huge impact on search now, especially with the new Google Search Plus Your World. Using that, making sure that you have plus ones on your page, you make it easier for people to plus one your page when they're on it, creates a huge and tremendous benefit because you're going to see how many people in your network have seen this blog. If someone shares your website or your blog, and it's going to show up in your search for a certain term, and even your own shares and your own pluses, it'll remind you to go back to that website. Oh, I found this information here, and I searched for it again, and oh, I found it again because I had plus one it or I had shared it to my circles. So those are huge benefits toward toward helping your customers find it. Putting your content on Pinterest, put a picture up, right? Link to your website, put a picture up. Guess what? People start pinning it because they like it. Obviously, you want to use a picture that's very interesting, but taking the time to actually go out and syndicate all your content to all these different social networks, to put it out there and to try and stimulate a discussion about it, or even to comment about in someone else's stream about a certain topic and then have a link toward yours in there, as long as it's not spammy. The hardest part about online marketing is that people are quickly learning what is a sale and what's not. And the best way to sell is to make it seem like you're not selling. Now,
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say, let's say that you're a manager and you're not the guy or the gal who's doing the Open Graph coding part of what you're doing, but you're the manager. Now, I know you made a comment during our initial discussions about how majority of Open Graph is not, while it's present, it's not installed correctly. So if you're a manager, what's the question you can ask your tech person to make sure that they are following the right way and installing it correctly, or the process you can go through to make sure that whoever's implementing that for you is using a good process to install that?
I would ask them to try and share sites on Google Plus and Facebook. Look at the results, see what's coming up as a description, what's coming up as the picture, and if it's the same content that's in the Open Graph tags, then you're doing it right. If it's not, then you're doing it wrong. That's an easy way for a technical person to debug, is actually using the software itself. Also, one other thing to mention is that the titles of your Google Plus post, this is specifically for Google Plus, do make a difference in how it's indexed. And Google Plus indexes your post instantly. So the first few lines of text that you talk about something, even if it's a link or a picture or something like that, will get indexed in the search engine.